is your Monday moment. Today is all about how determined leaders plot a new plan. Chances are you started this year with KPIs and SMART goals and maybe even a strategic plan, process, or meeting, but things have all been turned upside down and experienced some upheaval. When things change, when a crisis occurs, when the absolutely most unexpected environment becomes our present reality, the plans must change too. And your most determined leaders will revamp the plan before they even take the next step forward. So as you have time right now, these last few days, maybe even weeks, to revise, recreate, revamp the plan you once had in place, let's talk about how determined leaders do plot that new plan to make progress. The very first step is prioritize. Look at your current plan, your existing initiatives, your existing projects, your existing revenue streams, and your existing business model. Does it still work? And what of those items you were working on, whether as an individual leader, leader of an entire team, or even a leader, manager of a whole company or division, does what you were working on still have relevance? And of those things that do, of those things to which you can say, yes, still relevant, still viable, still important, they go on a separate list. Prioritize what is it you'll keep and get rid of the rest. I don't mean get rid of all the people who worked on those things or get rid of all the elements of those projects. I mean, for the purpose of your plan, get rid of them off of that piece of paper or file or document. You want to prioritize your existing projects with a very rigid, initially, guide and calculation about what will really work and what now really needs your attention. I'd recommend you limit those priorities to 3 at a maximum of 5, depending of course on the size of your workforce and the size of your company. Come up with your 3 to 5 top most important priorities and get rid of everything else for the moment. Secondly, go through those priorities and prune them. Maybe also look at pruning resources, positions, geography, territories, quotas, bonuses, commissions, maybe even payroll and pay structures. Many of you have already taken on this effort and have already gone through that painful process. Determined leaders who are preparing a plan for any kind of upcoming change or transition time period not only prioritize, but they take a look at what might be superfluous. What can you prune from the current budget that can be addressed at another time? What can you prune from your current list of priorities? Does what you initially said needs to, must be 5 really boil down to the top 2? What can you prune in the way of unnecessary meetings, a lesson we've all learned in the last 60 days? What can we prune in the way of unnecessary efforts on which you're spending your time, your talent, your energy, and what might now be limited resources? It's not to say that we'll be in this environment of squeezing blood out of a turnip forever. You may not even be there now. But for some industries and some businesses, the slow-paced rise back to fully funded capital, fully overflowing accounts, and a lot of profitability from their customers might be slow going. Prune where necessary. Prune in your plan as well so as not to dilute energy, not to dilute efforts, or provide a distraction. Once you've prioritized and then pruned, your third and final step in making sure you have an ideal, revamped, re-examined plan is to position yourself for success. Now, position has a multitude of meanings. I want you to look at positions on the team you have the privilege of leading, and who owns what initiative. When I'm guiding a strategic planning process for a nonprofit, an association, or an organization, we come up with owners of each individual item that is of priority focus. And normally, that's 3 to 5, maybe 6 or 7 in unusual cases. But who owns this column? Kind of like who owns marketing, who owns sales, who owns advertising, who owns training and development, who owns accounting. Find the positions that own each initiative, that have made it to your priority list and not gotten cut off through the process of pruning. So one element of position is to ensure that you establish ownership, which might be different than it was in, say, January or February of 2020. But the second meaning I would focus on when it comes to position is position yourself to be the leader skilled at delegating, development, and coaching. We've been through a period of time where your energy's been drained, your attention has been pulled in a multitude of directions, and if you've not been through a full amount of recovery, chances are good it won't take much for you to feel overwhelmed, overloaded, and like you've said yes to too many things. Now is not the time to be saying, ooh, 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 I'll do it myself. Or to be uttering phrases like, oh, nobody's going to get this done right, so I'll just do it myself. You're only going to get away with that 3 or 4 times in this new environment before you're done, before you're toast, and before you contemplate the beauty of Forrest Gump's run across the country as you escape the stress, mayhem, and confusion. Now that may sound a little bit drastic or maybe a bit exaggerated, but not by much. Be very mindful of positioning yourself as a determined leader working toward a new plan of action, a new plan of strategy for your organization, to be the one focused on development, delegation, and coaching. If you're not real sure how to delegate appropriately, stay tuned. That'll be in an upcoming Monday moment. But in the meantime, revising, revamping, and re-energizing your plan will be a valuable exercise between now and the time you are fully back up and running at full speed and even, dare I say, maximum capacity. You have some opportunities during this last few remaining days before much of our nation goes through yet another changing process to really make some decisions about how you'll go forward, how you will lead in the future, and how you will be that determined leader who reaches success. I'm Monica Wofford, and that's your Monday Moment. Thanks for watching. Thanks for also being a part of the Contagious community. Certainly when your company name is Contagious Companies, we've been in the news a lot lately. This virus has taken on an entirely new meaning. But let me reassure you, your leadership, your courage, your guidance, your coaching, your delegation and development of others, yeah, that's all still skill worth spreading and, as a result, contagious. I'm Monica Wofford. Join us at mondaymoment.com and we'll see you soon.